everyone. Collegedunia welcomes you all to yet another episode of Thoughtful Leaders program. We at Collegedunia are trying to enrich the user experience on our educational informative platform collegedunia.com to bridge the long due gap between the vision of the top management and the students or the parents. And to proceed with it, today we have with us the Director of JIS Institute of Advanced Studies and Research, Kolkata, Professor Ajay Kumar Roy. JIS Institute Kolkata was established in 2019 and is among the top reputed postgraduate institute of its kind. Professor Ajay Kumar Roy joined JIS Institute as its director after his retirement as Professor of Electronics and Communication Engineering at IIT Kharagpur. Professor Roy had its bachelor's degree from Bengal Engineering College, Shibpur, followed by MTech and PhD from Electronics and Electrical Communication Engineering Department of IIT Kharagpur. He joined IIT Kharagpur as a faculty in 1980. Professor Roy has successfully completed 20 research projects and several consultancy projects sponsored by several agencies like Defense Research and Development Organization, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Science and Technology, INDAL, and so on. He was the principal investigator of research projects sponsored by Intel Corporation during 1997 to 2004. He has published more than 160 research papers in international journals and conferences and has authored 5 books published by international publishing houses such as John Wiley, Tata McGraw-Hill, Prentice Hall of India and Taylor, and Francis publication, including one in Chinese. We welcome you, sir, to share your enriching experience with the younger generation who are about to embark on the path of their career with early footsteps.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, moving ahead to the question, my first question to you is, since you have held key positions since a very long time at education institutes and that also throughout your professional career, so what we want to know is what are the key factors that has kept you connected with the education sector until now?
You know, education is one of the most important sectors which is, abundantly connected. In fact, it is globally connected. In the sense that all the academic persons, the researchers, the students, the faculty members, mostly, the postgraduate and research students, they are already connected with their counterparts in many universities across the globe, in United States, in Europe, in India, amongst other IITs, and some of the best institutions in the country as well. So this connectedness, this comes from the urge to do something jointly doing some projects, jointly taking up a problem which needs a very, different kind of approach in its solution. So in general, in ensuring that education reaches, for example, during the last 1 year almost, we had organized a large number of webinars in which we had invited faculty members from IITs, ISC, the people from the industries, which is very important, from many industries across the country, and also the faculty members from all over the world, from United States, from mainly, of course, from USA, but then also from Germany, from England, from many other countries as well. From Russia also, because we are going to have a collaboration with them. So the urge amongst the academicians all over the globe is to do something which can mitigate the current challenges and then to do it, jointly, because after all the problems today are becoming so intricate and so complex that it cannot be solved, or it is difficult to solve by only a certain discipline. For example, in my discipline, say I've been working in the area of applications of electronics and imaging, image processing in healthcare. Until and unless we have got huge amount of collaboration with the doctors, with the industries people, with the academicians, with the researchers, it's extremely difficult to solve any of the problems. So this is one thing which really keeps us connected globally. And then through giving the webinars, educating the students, which is so important, because during the last 1.5 years, during the COVID, we tried to provide education in so many areas, in data science, in health science, in advanced materials. In my institute only, which is quite a young, I think our institute is the youngest in India. That's precisely the term I can use, because it is less than 2 years, out of which almost 1 year, 3 months, 4 months was lost in COVID during the pandemic. Yet in this very short period, I must say that we have made huge amount of progress in this very, very short period. And then in this very short period, we could establish the connections with so many people. Yes. Next.
Thank you so much for your insightful answer, sir. So moving ahead to the next question. So, being the director of JIS Institute, what do you think is your philosophy of leadership, or how do you think you describe your leadership style?
Ideal?
What do you think is your philosophy of leadership, being the director of JIS Institute, and how would you describe your leadership style?
Yeah, leadership means, frankly speaking, since I was, before joining JIS Institute of Advanced Studies and Research, I was the Vice Chancellor of Bengal Engineering and Science University, Shibpur. I was the first director of IIEST, Shibpur. I was the founder director of IIIT, Kalyani. I was also the director of NIT, Agartala, Sikkim, and many other places. So academic administration through all these years, and before that, as the head of School of Medical Science and Technology at IIT Kharagpur, and throughout as one who had been connected with the academics, not only in India, but then across the globe. In my opinion, the leadership or the academic leadership means there is the most important component of that is the fact that we must ensure the students, they must learn with pleasure, learn with the fullest extent, and then, imparting education means that the student should be a part of generating newer form of knowledge, especially in our area, which is so important. Because, the advancement of science and technology and the advancement of education automatically means that not just simply studying from book and then giving an exam, it should not be ending with that. The students, they must get enough of, incentive, and then the teachers should be in a position that they should be able to provide this education with love. The relationship between the academic administrator and the faculty and the students, they should feel that it's a single family. So it's a single family, whereas head of the family, the important role of the head should be to ensure that everybody learns and takes part in this kind of research and education with love and then with compassion. Because especially the term compassion comes because during the last 1.5 years, we have seen how COVID has really, changed the entire map of everything in the world today. So being compassionate is a major thing and is a major virtue. And with this, I always tried, even during my previous things, to be quite, and as much, in academics, there should not be much place of bureaucracy, because somehow, personally speaking, I have always hated bureaucracy, any kind of bureaucracy, things taking time, and then, a simple thing which possibly can be done in 5 minutes, that may take, maybe 5 months. And especially with the government institutions, this is very, very common. So fortunately, now that for the last 2 years, I am with this institute, which is absolutely a private university, JIS Institute of Advanced Studies and Research, under JIS Group, and especially our MD, Sardar Taranjit Singh. So he gives, whenever I ask him something, I have never heard him saying that, no, this, that, and all. So it's okay, you carry on, or it's approved. I still remember, in IIT Kharagpur, we had one registrar. So whenever we used to go to him for any kind of work, for example, at some point of time, due to the administrative delay, something is getting delayed. So I, or maybe that many of our colleagues, we used to go straight to that registrar and ask him that, look, this is our problem. So he used to listen to that and say, yes, done. And I really like that thing, that done. Don't worry. And only condition was that we have to take a cup of tea with him. That's all. And then you need not be worried. He will immediately, call his subordinate and then get the things done. And that was, of course, long back in IIT Kharagpur, because I spent 40 years in IIT Kharagpur, 40. So after that, I joined, of course, out of this 10 years was in BESU and IIST Shibpur. And after that, these 2 years. So this is a very new kind of a challenge for me, because, in India, and especially in this part of the country, we need to encourage more of research. So that's why ours is possibly the only private institution in the whole country, I should say, that which is essentially a research institute. We are only offering postgraduate and research, MTech, MSc, and PhD. And of course, we will start the postdoctoral also after the COVID pandemic is over. So that is what is my philosophy of leadership, that a leader should think that he is one of his colleagues. We are all together. And it's not that there should be much of hierarchy is very important. After all, everybody must listen to what the leader says. But then leader should not be bureaucratic in his approach. That's what I personally feel. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question we have. So being the director of JIS Institute, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your institute?
Yeah, for the marketing of our institute, in fact, this is one of the things where I think that we are slightly lagging, because of the fact that, we started our journey, our first class started in August 2019. So before that, of course, we had initially planned about this institute, what we will teach, how it will go about. And then with a very skeleton staff, we started in 2019, August. And then after that, we have a Facebook. And in that Facebook, you will see so many programs. Even during the pandemic, we have organized so many webinars, seminars, so many conferences. International conference we could not do because of, again, this pandemic. And now we have planned that, we'll be doing some national and international conferences into 2021-22. That is mainly next year. So the programs are, decided by, we have got 3 centers, and we sit down together, the faculty members of all the 3 centers, and then we decide that, how many webinars we will organize, what will be the conferences, both national and international in this year, and so on. And that's why we do our strategies. But then marketing part, we have got a very good marketing team of JIS group. So they are doing it. And the marketing, like I think that Collegedunia is one. I think that although we have now students from many institutes, for example, take the case of Amrita University. We have got research scholars from Amrita University. We have research scholars from Delhi University. We have research scholars from Bengal, from many other universities and institutes in such a short time. But still, I think that it is not very widely known to the people. So marketing part has to be given its due weightage and share in the days to come. And I'm sure that through Collegedunia, I will talk about the features of our institute, and I'm sure that through you will get enough of marketing. I do not really like the term marketing, but then getting us acquainted with the people, with the students, with the faculty members all over the country. Yeah.
Sure, sir. So, moving ahead to the next question. So, this is one of the major concerns that I'll be talking about, that education system in India and the education system that we see in the foreign countries are very differently structured. So, according to your experience, what do you think that an inbound student can gain from studying here in your institute?
Now, it is a very good question. After all, education everywhere, all over the world, it has got a single idea. And what is that idea? That is advancement of science and technology, advancement of knowledge and dissemination of knowledge amongst the students. There is no other thing in education anywhere in the globe. But then you have very rightly pointed out that structurally it's very different. Not very different, but then it's somewhat different. Even, for example, the structures in our universities, which are run by UGC, engineering colleges are run by AICT, they are the regulatory bodies. But for example, even in IITs we did not have anybody like that. So we were absolutely autonomous in IIT systems, and then we could take up our own programs in our own way. So one of the major problems that come up is because of the regulatory bodies. A lot of, they have got the regulations. Now, sometimes many of those regulations are not necessarily, for the good of education. I must say, certain things it's better to tell it, straightforward. And of course, I was with AICT for 3 years in between, from 2016, 17, and 18. And AICT had changed a lot because compared to what it was earlier. Yet I think that because it has shifted its role from regulatory body Two, it is felicitating education. And it should be helping the colleges grow. Not that you have to do this, you have to do that. Even if, suppose the AICT says that, okay, these are the model curriculum, because many colleges, they feel that that is Bible and you have to follow that. No, it's not like this. The whole idea is this is just something which has been given you as a benchmark, and you may always change that curriculum or whatever it may be in your own way. So academic institutions, the best part of it, those institutions which have really flourished are those which have the vision to move ahead and which have the complete freedom to do it. Because after all, if there are too many regulations that, you can even see that the universities across the country, even, in our state also, I find that at times it becomes very difficult because of the one regulation after another. So there are regulations from the government, it's coming, regulations from the UGC, it's coming. And very often there are regulations from the institutes, they are coming. So one should be regulatory bodies. Regulations are extremely important, but they should not be too many and they should not put hindrance in the process of imparting education. So that's what it is. Yes.
Thank you so much for your valuable input, sir. So, other question that arises from here is that how does the curriculum of JIS Institute ensure the best practices in the industry?
No, the curriculum, our faculty members, I can tell you that we are still small in the sense that we will be, I think, that shifting very soon to a much bigger place. And as I said, that this is the youngest institute in the whole country. And but then we have got a very big vision, I can tell you. Our faculty members is very uncommon, I can tell you, that almost all of them had either their PhDs or postdoctoral in the universities from USA, from Germany, from Australia and all. Almost all of them. And even those who are from IIT, they are from India, they are from IITs. So this is one of the things, the faculty members are extremely good. And for example, from a single institute, University of Washington at Seattle, from that single institution, 3 of our faculty members, they have joined us. And they were, so 2 of them, they have done their PhDs and they were all research professors in South Korea. One was from Australia. One of them, after doing his PhD at IIT Kharagpur, he was as a postdoctoral fellow in Germany, in TU Munich. And so faculty members, they are from across the world, from every institution. Even those who are from India, as I said, that they were with very reputed institutions like IICB, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, like say Tata Medical Center, that's a very important, Tata Cancer Center. So similarly, from Bose Institute. So they did their PhDs or postdoctorals in these areas, in these places. So our faculty members are truly that way. They have got an international exposure. And we decide our curriculum in such a way, we have got only one small constant at the moment, that although we want to have a slightly more advanced curriculum, but then because of the fact that our input as on today, the students are coming from the institutes from which are, from the private institutes from India, from different engineering institutions. Somehow many of the things have not been appropriately taught there. So we have, rather deliberately kept so that, and we have ensured that the students, they must learn. Otherwise, you give them, a lot of stress, and then they don't learn anything, they can't understand anything. That's not the idea. So, one of our faculty members, he was the deputy director of IIT Kharagpur, Professor Majumdar. He has retired long back. He was the dean, deputy director, and also head of computer science and engineering at IIT Kharagpur. So both of us, we initially, thought about having this institute, at least the data science group of this, in such a way that we must be making it one of the most advanced center for learning in data science. But then currently we have got 3 different centers. I will talk about them later on. Yeah. So we decide our curriculum, according to the needs of the country, according to the needs of the industry, according to the needs of, for example, during this COVID time, we found that it is extremely important that all these, bacteria, the virus, their gene sequencing, genetics has become a very important area. We have started bioinformatics, where we have got a good number of very efficient, faculty members. We have, courses on advanced material, polymeric material. So there we are teaching the student lots of advances in the new materials, the polymers, sensors. So sensor is such an important thing that because after all, everywhere you need to sense whether there is any bacteria, or maybe in environmental science, whether inside water you have got arsenic or fluoride. So everywhere you need sensor. The whole world needs sensor. So we have got a plan to start a completely separate, center on sensors only, sensor technology, which is extremely important today. And along with those sensing, that can be biochemical sensing, that can be mechanical sensing, that can be electrical, parameter sensing, including even, the biomedical sensing, the different types of health parameters, they need to be sensed. So sensors are very important, and there is huge amount of job opportunities in these areas. Because after the COVID, our country, we have to, live back to the, real, with all its force on different types of research and development. Otherwise, in the entire polity of nations, we will be nowhere. So already during the last 1.5 years, we have suffered a little bit. But then after the pandemic, we have to truly not just, teaching something, the students learn, then vomit it in the exam. Not exactly like this. We are trying to do something slightly different in this institute. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. Would you like to provide any insight as to how your institute could be more welcoming to the students of different races or from various economic backgrounds?
Yes, in fact, we have been constantly telling to the students that everybody knows that currently the country is under a huge pandemic, COVID, and a lot of people, they are really in an economic distress. So we made one thing very clear, that just this economic distress should not come in a very big way. After all, this is a private university. Naturally, we cannot say that it will be free. But then we are giving from this university as much amount of assistance as is possible, so that the bright, good students from the economically poorer section, they can join our institute. It's not that only for money they will not be able to get a good education. But that is something we are ensuring, trying to ensure that those who are truly, economically from a distressed group, they can also continue their education in this institute. And for that, now even the government, they have got certain schemes. Even our JIS group also, they are giving some scholarships. And even otherwise, we are trying to make arrangements for some kind of internships to these students so that they can earn some money through this. And for different types of races, you said, that means from all over the world, we have not yet, gone to that extent, but surely in today's world, we must welcome the students from even other countries. And not only our neighboring countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, but then more importantly, even from countries like Latin America or from Africa, there are a little bit of problems as on today. Even in IITs, as you know, that the country, as a country, we could not do much in that sector. In fact, even globally speaking. But then the country is now trying its best. There are many universities where a lot of foreign students, they come. And I'm sure that within a short span of time, we will be able to get them because that requires different hostels for the foreign students who are coming from other countries and that kind of stuff. Yes, we have that in mind.
Okay. So, what do you think are your roles and responsibilities towards the institutes and also towards the students?
Towards the citizens?
Students of your institute. Means being the director, what do you think are your responsibilities towards the institute as separately and towards the students in a separate manner?
There is only one responsibility, as I said, that institutes are for advancement of knowledge. So before advancement of knowledge, what the students want to know, want to be ensured of, that they learn. The first thing is, naturally, there is nothing, great in it. We must impart education in such a way that the students, they learn. And if they do not learn, we have to be compassionate on them and we have to again teach them. So this is a very important point. That is, it is just this teaching learning methodology. Sometimes, the teaching may not be appropriate. Or maybe that the students, throughout the country, it is a problem. Many students, they have got a lot of other problems, constants. They cannot attend all the classes. So the responsibilities are that, okay, you talk to them, you ensure that the teachers contact these students and then try to know that, okay, what are the problems? And then we have to continuously be compassionate with them, number one. And we must ensure that they get, it's not only learning, it's learning with pleasure. They must be learning with happiness. That is very important. And as I said, that because of COVID, immediately after we started, within few months, 6 months, COVID started. But then after it reopens, we have got lots of ideas so that we will make this as one of the best. Because now we are having online classes and all. That's continuing. But after the pandemic, this lockdown is lifted, then we have got an idea of continuously involving the students in all these programs of teaching learning. Lots of new ideas are there. Like say, how does a student, how will he learn? Can a student become a teacher? So let him give a lot of seminars. A very important point in our academic system is that students, they don't ask questions. Whatever may be the reasons. I think you are asking me questions. Possibly you have written down that, okay, these will be the questions. But generally, for example, if you are in a class, you must have seen that, okay, the teacher teaches, then the teacher, after the end of the class, asks that, okay, is there any question? Everybody is blank, no question. In IITs, sometimes I used to say that, okay, if you do not have any question, then I will have questions for you. So that I can tell anybody that, okay, you don't have any questions for me, but I have got questions for you. So you answer this. So just jokingly I'm said, so the point is right from the school level that questioning is very important. And many times the students feel that, okay, if I ask this question, whether this will be an intelligent question or slightly, not very smart question, the students have to be told that, okay, every question is intelligent question, because any question that arises in your mind, it has an intelligence associated with it. Any question. So there is nothing called a dumb question or a non-intelligent question. So students should be inspired to ask as many questions to the teacher till they understand the whole thing. And so that, they can learn. Then learning by doing. So there are, some such things which we have in mind. Yeah. Next.
Okay, so moving to the next question. So what do you think should be the institute's top priority over the next 10 years? As in, how do you strategize your institute's vision of achieving some targets that you have set for yourself or for the institute? So how do you think that you should be strategizing it as your priority level in the next 10 years?
Oh, that's a very good question. In fact, in today's world, in 21st century, if you just see the major problems, what are the major problems? One of the major problems is in the area of energy and environment. Because whether humanity will survive tomorrow, it very much depends on the environment. So, environment and energy, again, environment is dependent on the way we generate the energy. And most importantly, this energy and environment, they are responsible in creating all your health problems. And for problem solution, whether it's in health problem solution, many times we require new materials. You may be knowing that tomorrow, many of the organs are coming with the advanced materials. Now 3D printing has come, and you can generate maybe that within a decade, it will be possible to create many of the organs in the laboratory. And that's what the science is moving at. So we have to have, and then for doing all these things, it will involve huge amount of data which needs to be analyzed. Not a small amount of data, huge amount of data for business, for healthcare, hospitals, environment, for your traffic. Everywhere you need huge amount of data for analysis of its problems and for finding the solution. So we have started 3 centers right from the beginning. One is Center for Data Science, where, in data science today, only just gathering the data is not enough. You have to analyze the data. So for analysis of the data, you need some advanced techniques. Like say, for example, now we say that machine learning, we need the computers to learn the patterns, whether it is a pattern of your healthcare, say ECG, your heart problem, your neurological problem. So every kind of human organ dysfunction, it has got a pattern. So that pattern needs to be understood by a machine. Similarly, in business, the business, it has got a pattern. So it is important to understand your marketing. Marketing, it has got a big pattern. So that pattern needs to be understood. And for that, you need machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we are teaching that. As I said, that we need large number of sensors. So these sensors now, they will be connected to the internet. Like you and me, we are connected. All the human beings are connected with the internet. So tomorrow, about, 50 billion, that is 5,000 crores of such devices will be connected to the internet. Imagine it will be almost 6 to 7 times the total number of human beings connected with the internet. Much more number of sensors will be connected, the devices will be connected. Now they all need to be analyzed. Simple thing, like say your home will be smart home tomorrow. Your transportation system should be smart transportation system. Hospitals, so many patients, it has to be smart hospital. The surveillance, everywhere, so many problems are coming up, and we need the security, and surveillance is one of the major problems. That means with the cameras and all. Traffic surveillance, in all the major cities, lots of outdoor cameras are now being put. Who will analyze this data? So for analyzing this data, you need advanced techniques of machine learning, image processing, video processing, etc. So we are teaching that in our data science. Similarly, in health science, as I said, that we have got a very strong group on genetics. And there, I am very happy that during this COVID time, some of our papers, which our faculty members, they have worked with, it has found a lot of, about the pattern of this COVID, this COVID 2019. Now, the patterns means they are trying to predict that, okay, how long it will continue and where it's going to stop. Even, now from where? From the nature of the mutation that these coronaviruses are undergoing. What are the new mutations of the Indian variety of COVID? What will be the new mutation? So our faculty members, they are also studying it is not only the virus, but for the bacteria. Bacteria, they are constantly trying to, find out the bacterial genomics. That means what is the gene component of it. You might have heard that there are many diseases which are now becoming absolutely antibiotic resistant, including TB. At one point of time, TB, whatever antibiotic you give, it's not giving you results. So where man will go? So it is because of the fact that newer and newer mutants and variants are coming. Similarly for, this COVID also. For COVID, by this time it would have gone. But then as more and more infections are taking place, more and more mutations are taking place. And more mutation means that the new varieties, they may either be of less virulence or they may be of more virulence. So for that, a detailed analysis of this. So ours is possibly the only academic institute other than Calcutta University in the entire eastern zone. In West Bengal, at least I know, that we have got this gene sequencing machine. It's quite an expensive machine. I'm very thankful to our management that is the first machine we could have. And now we are getting a lot of samples from Tata Medical, for different types of, diseases. How do you analyze the bacterial genomic sequences, viral genomic sequences, and also the human genomic sequences, so that you can predict that where we are looking at. Similarly, after we go to the next bigger building, there we will be starting a regular biomedical course, because after all, health is becoming extremely important today. all that electronics we have been doing, all that computer science we have been doing, these all will merge with biology, with environmental science. And so one thing as a vision, all the academic administrators, they have to understand that knowledge does not have any partition. So today, everything is merging and it is becoming interdisciplinary. You cannot say that, okay, only a doctor can solve the problem. Nothing, no way. Every moment the doctors, they need the help of the technologists, the statisticians, they need the help of mathematicians, they need the help of computer scientists, they need the help of these different type of biological gadgets to be designed, etc. Just now I was talking when I started this with a very famous homeopathy doctor, and then they wanted that, okay, more research on homeopathy. So we said that yes, in our health science, why should it be only on the conventional system, but we will also go for the non-conventional strategies of healthcare, that is homeopathy and Ayurvedic as well. So that is what is one of our plans. So only then, similarly, as I said, that we started with these 3 centers. The 3rd center is Center for Interdisciplinary Sciences, where we have started with research in different kinds of polymeric materials, 3D printing, and different types of sensors. So all these things, they are the technologies which will help the people, the entire global population in 21st century in mitigation of the problems. So we are not doing anything just for the sake of it, that you give a degree and then you tell the student that, okay, you go and find out something. But then we will be now going in a big way with the industries. Immediately after the COVID normalizes, we are already having discussions with them. And then we will proceed. My vision is to see to it that this institute, JIS Institute of Advanced Studies and Research, this becomes one of the best institutes of research in the whole country, not in Eastern region only, because it is only less than 2 years now. And as you said, that in the next 10 years, we will be concentrating on all these 3 big areas: data science, health science and technology, and interdisciplinary sciences, mainly in the area of sensor technology and advanced materials, and also the tissue culture, which will be, the common to both, where a lot of, health issues can be solved using these advanced technology. So I'm sure that with the help of our management, and one more thing, you will be really surprised to know, and I'm really very happy to state that our colleagues, our faculty members, although they are not too many in numbers, but then currently we have got almost 8 crores worth of projects which have been granted from DST, from DBT. Can you imagine? I mean, in hardly our institute has functioned for 6 months after that COVID came, and 8 crores of projects. I don't know, not many IITs with such a very small number of faculty members could get it. So almost on the average, every faculty member has got projects of about 70, 80 lakhs. Some of them have got more, some slightly less. And still newer projects also are coming. And they are all being funded by Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, ICMR, like that, DIT. So the different, and then we will be going on some joint research collaboration with the University of Washington. Already we have initiated. UPenn, University of Pennsylvania, we have initiated one joint big project that will be Indo-US projects. Similarly, Indo-European projects we will start. With some Korean universities, we are going to start in a much bigger way the research project. These will all be collaborative research projects where a lot of students, they can join in our master's degree program and PhD program. So only sky is the limit. I'm a bit, because of COVID, constantly, because I am unable to go out. And so this is a only major problem. But our colleagues, many of them, they are regularly going to the institute. Especially many of them, they have to work in the laboratories, so they can't stay at home. And so it's like this. Yes, anything else? Any question that comes to your mind, as I said?
But since I get to know a lot of things about your institute, so something that I really want to ask is, what do you see as your your institute's greatest strength to be?
Greatest strength?
Yeah.
Greatest strength will be, in the form of our research and development, and also in our collaborative research programs with industries and the academia, other universities. Already, we had collaborations, and we do not want any collaboration which is just passive, because many institutes, they have got MOUs with other universities. But then we are having, constantly trying to do something in collaboration with IITs. I should not say only with IITs. In fact, in many universities across the country, there are some very good people. And then with the doctors, with many doctors, we are collaborating in Calcutta itself. With many, as I told you, that CSR laboratories, we are having collaboration. So this is one of the major things, because after all, this collaborative research will find one of the things. The second important thing is we have to inculcate, because the students, they get the degrees. Then what? They learn new techniques. And only thing that our country, we tell them that, okay, you go and get your jobs. But we have a plan that it is not that jobs are the only thing. We have to go for entrepreneurship. That is, with the help of JIS University, the management, we will go in a big way for entrepreneurship cell here, so that those who are joining here, they themselves can do something, and do something really creatively. Our, the management, they have said that whatever money is required, they will spend the money for the patenting. Patent is something we are going in a big way. So that, you have your patents, the students, they will be going for entrepreneurship programs. And then to start with, they can work with some big companies. They can do some work of a big company, innovative work, very interesting work, which may be that the big companies cannot afford to do it, because they will have to spend much more money for recruitment of the people out there. So it's interesting that if we have got large number of such patents, and many bigger companies, if you just see in America, then their model is they are constantly, encouraging the startups. Somehow in India, it came much later, the startup companies. That is, the bank will give them loans and then let them start something new on their own. There are plenty of problems. Not that, okay, every startup will be a big success. But whatever you see today in the technological domain, many startups, because of them, the big companies exist today. Because they had collaborated with them, and finally, in the jargon of today's, the business, they say that they will merger and acquisition. They will acquire that startup company. They will buy everything from that startup company, so that the company itself becomes a part of the bigger company. So lots of such new things we'll do. And then in our data science group, we will be maybe from next year. This year we didn't really dare because we do not still know about the future of COVID, how many months it will go. But surely from 2022, we will start in a big way the data science for business. So business data analytics, that will be one of our major areas because after all, the whole world today it is running on the advanced techniques in business processes. Already some of our students, research scholars, they are working in this area. And then in future, we'll be running a course itself, like not exactly in collaboration with IIMs, but many IIMs faculty members, that is the retired ones, they have agreed to join us. And I said that, okay, only after a few months, let COVID be over as early as possible, hopefully from 2022. Currently, we are giving, let me tell you, for industries people, that is another thing, those who are working in the industry, for them we are providing a 3-year MTech program, executive MTech, because many of them, they cannot really have any option. They cannot leave the job and then do the master's degree or even the PhD degree. So we have given the option, like say executive MTech, executive MBA, this is also executive MTech 3-year. And many students, they have joined from all the reputed companies, IT companies here, from IBM, from CTS, from TCS, from many such companies. They have joined here, and then they are doing their MTech. Then 2-year MTech in data science. Then we have got a number of MSc programs also in health science, in bioinformatics and biotechnology, in advanced materials and polymer science, like that. And along with that, we are having these PhD programs. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the last question. Lastly, I would like to know that if there are any suggestions that you would like to give to the current youth or the aspiring students who are dealing with this COVID situation and then willing to take admission in some colleges but are facing issues like they are baffled about their career, how it is going to be like ahead.
Yes, this is the most pertinent question and the best question. And I must say that my first suggestion to all these innumerable youth across our country is not to lose heart. Remember that this is only a transient phase. And remember that such phases, yes, after almost 100 years we had this phase. But then throughout the history, after this phase is over, remember that the bright days are coming. Very bright days are coming. And then please do not be upset and do not get frustrated. This is only a transient phase. Again and again I'm saying the dark days will be over very soon. And you may say that, you may think that, okay, you are saying something, but we don't see any ray of hope. But that's not it. Actually, there are plenty of rays of hope which you cannot see. I can tell you that in this, pandemic situation, after this will be over, I can guarantee that the country will leap back to huge amount of, job generation. Yes, some jobs will go also from the industries, but parallelly, many jobs will be generated. And please see the recent and the most important avenue for finding your job. Do not be a job seeker, but then be an entrepreneur. Most important thing, in management jargons, they say that the important thing is to see that the problems are coming if you can see that the problems are coming, then you can easily overcome the problems. What are the problems at this point of time? COVID. Because of COVID, maybe that getting jobs has become very tough. Because of COVID, you are unable to continue your studies. Because in many families, I know that, they are facing tremendous problems because somebody's father, he lost his job. Many people, they are desperately looking for jobs because I get so many such requests that, sir, if there is any opening anywhere, every day I get. And I feel so bad that at this point of time, directly I cannot do anything. But then we have to work in unison. And I'm sure that many of us, I was planning that, we should give a joint, some kind of we should seek some time with the industries minister that how we can have many more, small scale industries in the IT sector and also in the manufacturing sector, small manufacturing, not the big ones. And then if you can, for example, learn the newer techniques, remember that there will be no dearth of jobs. I can tell you that in business processes today, if you know that how data science and analytics can be used, there will be no dearth of jobs. You may think that, how do I learn it? There are plenty of places where, the data analytics is being taught. If you, for example, know that how to make an ECG machine, say allied health services. Allied health is such an important area where there is no plain dearth of jobs. They are not doctors. The country today has got very little number of doctors. The number of nurses is slightly more. But again, the total number of requirement of the allied health services is huge, but then we cannot find many people. Like in this whole COVID time, RT-PCR was being done, but how many people were there who could, do the servicing of that? How many people were involved in this environment in the hospitals to help they are basically, not exactly the paramedical, but even we need more of lab technician. In this environment, if anything goes wrong, suppose a hospital has got only one equipment or two equipments. So what do you do with that? So we need the trained manpower. Remember that in our state, we still have a lack of people who are really skilled enough to help us in instrumentation. Very little. And this is one of the major problems. Similarly, as I said, that there are many areas, so allied health service, there are plenty of jobs and many more jobs will come up. Public health. Now the governments all across the world, they have understood the importance of public health. So far, people didn't know what to do. During the first COVID wave, nobody knew how to do it. In public health engineering, there's so much to do. And unless a government does enough to do it, that state or that country will just collapse like anything. So we have to take the models of some of the most successful countries where, in spite of the fact that they have got huge number of population, like say in China, their population is still much more than India, although they are reducing it at a very high speed, but still they are much. How could they solve their problems? So models are not out of this planet. They are inside this planet only. So if they can do, why cannot we? So my request to all the youngsters that please do not leave hope. And we need a completely different kind of a strategy to identify that you remain and all of our children, they remain or they get some good openings or jobs in future. This is only a very transient time. Please do not lose hope. I can assure you that you will be finding much more happier days, sunny days, bright days ahead. And remember always that after every tunnel of darkness, there is a light. There has to be light. And also remember another great saying, that there is no problem for which there is no solution key. Keys always exist. When you build a lock, there has to be a key. So if there is a lock now, there has to be a key. The key to find the solution of the problems. And that key exists. Only thing is that we do not have enough of collaboration between the academia, the government, the industries houses, nothing. So everybody goes in his own way. So that in our mathematical language, we say that they go in their own way, in their own dimension. So together, if we sit together, then definitely there is a solution to the problems. I wish each one of you very well, my very dear students, and my only best wishes to you that have the courage to face this transient time, and then you will find that very bright, happy, sunny days are coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the advices. I hope that this is going to motivate the younger generation and they will definitely find their path of success. So, thank you all for being with us. And dear sir, I appreciate your time and effort for this.
Okay, so thank you, Shobha. Thank your organization also. And let's hope together we can bring a change. Because after all, life is very important, and success in life means as much change you can bring in the lives of others. So that's the real success, not your own success, not your own awards, rewards and all. But then the kind of changes that you can bring to others' lives. And for us, others' lives are the lives of all these youngsters who are the backbones of today's economy. Thank you.